Imagine a man whose smile alone could stop the world. A man whose eyes held so much warmth that millions of people across the globe fell in love with him through a television screen. A man who played a doctor so convincingly that people forgot he was acting. That man is Patrick Dempsey, the guy who walked onto Grey's Anatomy as McDreamy and never let go of our hearts. But today, we are not just here to talk about that charming grin. Today, we are going to talk about the moments that happened behind the cameras, the secrets that were never meant to go public, the pain that he kept buried deep inside, and the shocking news that has just come out. News so heavy, so heartbreaking, that it will hit you right in the chest. A man who looked like the picture of success on screen was quietly carrying a world of struggle in real life. A marriage that broke and was somehow stitched back together. A friendship that death ripped apart just days ago. A career that crashed, rebuilt, and is now rising again in a whole new direction. Stay with us through this entire story, because Patrick Dempsey's life is not just a McDreamy fantasy. It is a full, raw, deeply human journey filled with pain, loss, love, and the kind of resilience that you rarely see in Hollywood. Let us start at the very beginning. Patrick Galen Dempsey was born on January 13, 1966, in Lewiston, Maine. A small town, a modest family, and a boy who on the outside looked completely ordinary. But inside, there was a fire, a hunger to be something. His mother, Amanda, was battling multiple sclerosis, and Patrick, even as a young child, was forced to look at life through a lens that most kids never have to face. He watched his mother fight every single day. He watched her struggle with her body while still showing up for her family. That image never left him. It shaped everything: his empathy, his drive, his understanding of how fragile and precious life truly is. Money was tight growing up, but dreams were never in short supply. Patrick discovered performing early. As a teenager, he got into juggling and comedy acts. That is right, before McDreamy, there was a teenage juggler from Maine who was just trying to make people laugh. That talent eventually pushed him toward the stage, and by the mid-1980s, he was making his way into Hollywood. In 1987, he landed a role in the teen romantic comedy Can't Buy Me Love, playing the lovable underdog who wins the girl. The movie gave him a fresh, charming identity. For a brief moment, it looked like Patrick Dempsey was about to become a household name. But Hollywood is not that simple. After that early flash of success, the roles slowed down. The big opportunities did not keep coming. Patrick spent years doing smaller films, supporting parts, forgettable projects. There was a stretch of time where it genuinely looked like his Hollywood story might just quietly fade out. He was not a failure, but he was not a star either. He was somewhere in the uncomfortable middle ground where most careers go to die. He kept working. He kept showing up. But the breakthrough he needed felt like it was always just out of reach. Then 2005 arrived and changed everything. ABC launched a brand new medical drama called Grey's Anatomy, created by the brilliant Shonda Rhimes. Patrick was cast as Dr. Derek Shepherd, a brilliant neurosurgeon with a complicated past and an irresistible presence. The moment he appeared on screen, audiences across America leaned forward. Something about him just clicked. The writers nicknamed his character McDreamy, and within weeks, that name was everywhere, on magazine covers, in office conversations, in the dreams of millions of viewers who could not get enough of him. Grey's Anatomy became a cultural phenomenon, and Patrick Dempsey became one of the most recognized faces on television, not just in America, but around the entire world. For a decade, he was Dr. Derek Shepherd. He was McDreamy. He was the man every fan wanted to be with, and every aspiring actor wanted to be. Awards, red carpets, sold-out fan events, he had it all. But here is where the story takes a turn that most people do not know about. Because behind that perfect smile and that perfectly styled hair, things were not as clean or beautiful as they appeared. In 2015, a bombshell dropped. Patrick Dempsey was leaving Grey's Anatomy. Not a planned exit, not a graceful goodbye, an abrupt, uncomfortable departure that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. And the reason was not simply creative differences. Reports began to surface that the atmosphere on set had become tense and difficult. There were complaints about Patrick's behavior from producers. Colleagues described a working environment that had shifted from positive to problematic. Shonda Rhimes, the woman who had given him this career-defining role, responded publicly in ways that made it clear this was not just a storytelling decision. She was done. And when Dr. Derek Shepherd was killed off, suddenly, shockingly, in a way that left fans devastated, audiences began to understand that this was not just a plot twist. This was a goodbye that carried real weight behind it. Patrick stayed quiet for a long time about what exactly went wrong. He eventually admitted that he had not been in a good place personally, that there was inner turbulence he had not properly dealt with, and that leaving the show, as painful as it was, may have actually saved him from himself. Because at the same time the show chapter was closing, his personal life was also cracking under pressure. His wife, Gillian Fink, a celebrity hairstylist he had married in 1999, filed for divorce in 2015. The timing was brutal. Patrick was losing his most iconic professional role and his marriage in the same season. The couple had 3 children together, their daughter Tallulah and their twin boys Darby and Sullivan. When the divorce news went public, it felt like the final piece of the McDreamy illusion had shattered. If the man who played the perfect TV husband could not keep his real marriage together, What hope was there for any of us? But then something happened that nobody saw coming. Patrick and Jillian reconciled. They pulled back from the edge. They chose to fight for their marriage instead of walking away from it. Patrick has spoken honestly about how difficult that process was, how it required real work, real vulnerability, real commitment from both of them. It was not fairy tale stuff. It was messy and painful and uncertain. But they made it through. Today they are still together, still raising their 3 kids, still standing side by side. And in a town like Hollywood where relationships dissolve faster than film careers, that in itself is nothing short of remarkable. Now we need to talk about something that happened just days ago. Something that shook Patrick Dempsey to his core. Something that has left the entire Grey's Anatomy family, and fans all over the world, in tears. On February 19, 2026, Eric Dane passed away at the age of 53. If you are a Grey's Anatomy fan, you know that name. You know him as Dr. Mark Sloan, McSteamy, Patrick's on-screen rival turned best friend. Eric Dane had been battling ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, a devastating and relentless disease that slowly robs a person of their ability to move, to speak, to breathe. He had publicly revealed his diagnosis in April 2025. From that moment forward, he did not hide. He did not disappear. He used the time he had left to speak openly about the disease, to push for funding for ALS research, to testify before Congress, and to keep working, because work, as he said, kept him feeling alive. He even filmed scenes for Euphoria Season 3 while dealing with the progression of the disease. That is the kind of courage most people will never fully understand. Patrick Dempsey was in London when the news broke. He was live on the Chris Evans Breakfast Show on UK radio when he learned about Eric's passing. His voice broke. He said, "I was really upset when I read the news this morning. It is hard to put into words. My heart goes out to his children." Eric Dane is survived by his 2 daughters, Billy and Georgia. 2 little girls who now have to grow up without their father. Patrick revealed that he and Eric had been texting just 1 week before Eric died. He said Eric's condition had deteriorated rapidly in that final week. He had lost his ability to speak. He was bedbound. Eating had become nearly impossible. Patrick shared all of this with the world, not to sensationalize it, but because he wanted people to understand what ALS really does to a person, how cruel it is, how fast it moves, and how incredibly brave Eric Dane was for facing it the way he did. He said of Eric, "Every time he walked onto set, he brought such joy that the whole room lit up. That is how I want to remember him." The relationship between Patrick Dempsey and Eric Dane was not just a professional one. On Grey's Anatomy, their characters went from rivals to close friends, and life imitated art. The 2 men had a genuine bond, built over years of working side by side, navigating the chaos of a hit television show, and supporting each other through personal ups and downs. Patrick described their connection as one of wonderful mutual respect. There was no competition between them, no ego battles, just 2 men who genuinely liked and appreciated each other. And now one of them is gone, and the other is left holding the memory of a friendship that meant more than most people knew. This loss is not something Patrick will get over quickly. You do not get over losing someone like that. You just learn to carry it differently over time. But even through grief, life continues to move. And Patrick Dempsey is moving with it. In 2026, he is stepping into a brand new chapter professionally. Fox Network launched his new drama series called Memory of a Killer. The show is inspired by a Belgian film and features Patrick in a role that could not be more different from Dr. Derek Shepherd. He plays Angelo Doyle, a hitman living a dangerous double life and hiding a deadly personal secret. Dark, morally complex, physically intense. This is Patrick Dempsey pushing himself into completely uncharted territory. And he is not just starring in it. He is also an executive producer on the project, meaning he has real creative power behind the scenes for the first time in his career. The show also stars Emmy winner Michael Imperioli, known for The Sopranos and White Lotus, and Gina Torres. Early critical reception has been positive, and audiences who grew up loving McDreamy are now watching Patrick play a cold, calculated killer with the same effortless screen presence, just used in a completely different direction. It is one of the most interesting career pivots in recent Hollywood memory. And while his career is evolving, his heart has never stopped being tied to the place where everything began. In October 2023, Patrick's hometown of Lewiston, Maine was rocked by a mass shooting. A gunman opened fire in a bar and a bowling alley, killing 18 people and wounding dozens more. It was one of the deadliest mass shootings in Maine's history. Patrick was publicly devastated. He spoke out immediately, expressing his grief for the victims and his community. For someone who grew up walking those same streets, whose family roots run deep in that town, the tragedy was not just a news story. It was personal. It was home. And speaking of home, no conversation about Patrick Dempsey is complete without talking about what he did for his mother and for the thousands of people his mother represents. Amanda Dempsey lived with multiple sclerosis for decades. She fought it with quiet dignity while raising her family. Patrick never forgot what it felt like to watch someone he loved suffer and not have enough resources or support around them. So he did something about it. He founded the Patrick Dempsey Center for Cancer Hope and Healing at Central Maine Medical Center, right there in his hometown of Lewiston. The center provides support services, integrative therapies, and patient navigation for people dealing with cancer and serious illness. It is not a vanity project. It is not a celebrity charity photo op. It is a real, functioning institution that has helped thousands of real people in one of America's most underserved regions. That center is perhaps the most meaningful thing Patrick Dempsey has ever built, not on a screen, but in the real world with real impact. In 2023, People magazine named Patrick Dempsey its sexiest man alive. He was 57 years old. And honestly, the reaction from the public was not surprise, it was celebration. Because at this point, people had seen enough of Patrick's real life to know that his appeal goes so much deeper than his looks. It is the way he stuck by his marriage when it would have been easier to walk away. It is the way he shows up for his community. It is the way he wept for his friend on live radio without any embarrassment or pretense. It is the way he turned his childhood pain into a resource for strangers. That is what makes a person genuinely attractive. Not just cheekbones and blue eyes, though those certainly do not hurt. Patrick Dempsey at 60 is not the same man he was at 40. He is more settled, more self-aware, more willing to be honest about where he has been and what it cost him. He has talked openly about therapy, about learning to communicate better in his marriage, about understanding his own behavioral patterns and how they affected the people around him. He did not let the Grey's Anatomy fallout define him permanently. He took the fall, figured out what went wrong, and came back stronger and smarter. That is the arc that most Hollywood stories do not get to tell. Not the rise, not the fall, but the quiet, unglamorous rebuilding that happens in between. The conversations nobody else is in the room for. The apologies that are never filmed. The work on yourself that takes years and has no audience and no applause. And now here he is, a man who started as a teenage juggler in small-town Maine, became one of the most beloved TV characters in history, crashed hard, rebuilt his marriage, lost a dear friend far too soon, opened a healing center in his hometown, and is now producing and starring in a critically acclaimed new drama series at an age when most Hollywood careers would be slowing down. That is not a McDreamy story. That is better than a McDreamy story. That is a real story. A human story. The kind that does not always have a tidy ending or a dramatic musical score. The kind that just keeps going, keeps showing up, keeps finding new reasons to try again. If this video moved you, if you felt something watching Patrick's real journey unfold, please hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear a story like this today, and subscribe to this channel because we are always here bringing you the true stories behind the faces you think you know. Patrick Dempsey is not just McDreamy. He never was. He is something much more interesting than that. He is a man, with all the mess and heartbreak and beauty that comes with being one.